It's been a long time since I last posted, but that's pretty much all I'm gonna say about that. Recently I went on holiday and we went all over the Highlands and up to Skye in Scotland. Um, and I discovered a new spinning technique that I had never seen before. Now, I'm definitely not like a pro at spinning. I don't really do drop spin wheel spinning, and I do have a spinning wheel, but I've only spun a little bit and it's still very sort of rough. But you probably see me waving it around. I discovered stick spinning, and we went to go to a little shop called the Hand Spinner Having Fun, and they do a lot of hand spinning and hand dyed stuff, and it's very, very awesome, lovely shop, and the people there are so friendly. However, I was introduced to this new technique, and this so I don't know, I don't think stick spinning itself is new, but they stock these things called Spurtzleur, and these are kind of a new thing. You can buy them from natural born dyers, they make them. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, because when I first saw this I was like, what is this thing? I've never seen it before. So the Spurtzleur, as far as I can understand from the website, um, the natural born dyers were introduced to stick spinning, but they felt like that there wasn't kind of, I mean, you can do it with a pen or a pencil or a stick or whatever, but they felt like they could design something better. So they came up with this sort of thing, which has like a space for your cup to build up once you're busy spinning, which is obviously better than like a pencil or a stick where it'll just kind of slip off and it doesn't have a nice space to build up. So they designed this, but they were trying to find a name for it. And then eventually someone suggested like a spurtle, because a spurtle is, I don't know if it's a strictly Scottish thing, but it's quite popular in Scotland. Like, you see them in all the gift shops. It's like this wooden device for stirring porridge, and I'll insert a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. And because it kind of looks a bit like a spurtle, then someone suggested that, and then because the natural born dyes had learnt it from a lady who was from Normandy, I believe, they decided to like give a French kind of thing to it by adding the le on the end, so it's a Spurtzleur instead of a spurtle. Anyway, so that's about this. And but if you look it up, if you're looking up for techniques and stuff, I think it's easier to look up the stick spinning. But that's also part of why I'm making this video, because I'm very new to this. I literally just started this like a few days ago. But I did notice that there's almost no videos on spinning with Spurtzleur, so I thought I would just add a little bit, because okay, it didn't take me that long, but it did take me a little while to figure out like how the movements work and everything, so I thought that would be useful. I just need to check my notes and see if I've left anything out. Oops, my chair's spinning. No, I think that's good. Okay, so I'll quickly show you, like with you facing me, I'll show you how I do it, and then I will switch to kind of camera behind my hand so you can then watch what I do before. Like I said, I am not a pro at this. I've just started, but I thought I'd just add a bit more information for anyone that's sort of trying it out there and not really sure how it works. So I have, what do I have with me here? This is some Kent Romney that I got. This is from the Queen of Pearls. Oops, beautiful logo. I hope that's in focus. So I'm just using a bit of this because it's what I had lying around. And then I personally, like I said, I'm quite new to spinning as a whole, so I'm not the best at drafting. So I do like to kind of pre-draft mine a bit by like pulling it kind of quite thin. I suppose you would call it pencil roving maybe, and then just kind of thinning it out a bit as well. But I'm guessing you could maybe spin from the whole lot if you were more confident at spinning. So to join, you just kind of put the fluffy bits together, and then you spin a bit with this, so that, I know it looks crazy. If you've never seen this before, you're like, you're just twisting that. How is it spinning? I don't know how it's spinning. The science is beyond me. But anyway, so then you let a bit of the spin pull back into that so that it'll join. Kind of the same as normal spinning, I guess. This is magic. Then I'm winding some on, holding it. I suppose this is called like the park and draft method, where you hold it and then you draft a little bit and you let some spin go into it and then you carry on spinning. Don't worry, I'm going to show you like a kind of cheat method, because I struggled to get the whole spinning thing happening. Okay, so basically you're making sure that the hand that's holding the Spurtzleur is kind of loose, so that the actual Spurtzleur is able to twist in your hand while you're turning this round. So it might be kind of hard to see from this angle, but it is actually spinning inside of my hand. It's not just staying still. I'm not just like winding it round. Otherwise, it would be winding itself back onto the Spurtzleur. And apparently this is, well, I know at least from wheel spinning, this is not as fast. However, if you, like me, struggle with the drafting and the spinning at the same time with the spinning wheel, this is much easier because you draft separately. So you don't have to be thinking of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy or whatever it is. So this is a bit easier like this. But yeah, apparently it is slower. When I can see that at least with the wheel, I don't really have anything to compare it to with a drop spindle, because like I said, I'm not really, I think I used a drop spindle many years ago for a very tiny bit. I never really got proficient at it. I would still like to get my spinning of this much thinner, but I find if I try and draft it too thin, then I just start snapping it. But pretty sure that just comes with practice, and we'll get better at it in the future. Okay, now that I've finished this little bit and I have this tiny tail left, I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna move over to the table, and so that you can see in front of me and get a better closer up look and see what I'm doing, and I can explain it more slowly. But once you finish, you literally just stop, and then that's it. You're done. You don't have to do anything special to like put it down or anything. You just stop. So it's pretty amazing. Okay. Hopefully I can do this without being too awkward or bumping this camera too much. Yeah, this is just gonna have to work. So I guess I should have probably started without any. Well, I'll just show you like this first, and then I'll show you without any how you start. But basically, once you've got some of this on, the basic movement, so the way I saw it done, it's done pretty fast. Oops. So it's kind of spinning and rotating in the hand at the same time, and when I first started, I could not get this to work for me. I could not get it to spin in my hand at the same time as rotating it. So what I discovered, what I discovered I could do, let me just join this piece before I show you what I discovered I could do. So I'm sure it's not like the proper way to do it, but it really helped me figure out what I was doing before. Why are you not holding hands? There we go. So what you can do is you can wind it on and then pull it out. Wind it on, pull it out, and let it roll in your hand. Ooh, sorry, focus. Okay, wind it on, pull it out. Wind it on, pull it out. And that is, I think, quite a bit slower in terms of how, like, when it gets the spin in, you have to do that a bit, takes a bit longer to do that to get the spin in. But it does make it a bit easier to control if you haven't figured out yet how to get the Spurtzleur to roll in your hand. So that's kind of how I started, and then as I got the hang of it, oh, we have some plant matter. As I got the hang of it, then I could start actually rolling it while twisting at the same time. But it's just a progression, and you just kind of get used to it once you've got the general hang of twisting it and getting drop. But with either method, whether you're going to wind it on and then pull it out, or whether you're going to just kind of twist it and let it spin in your hand. Either way, you do kind of do that park and draft method where you hold it and let some of the spin go in when you're to draft. But it's pretty straightforward, I think. And I managed to get it working after a little while. Just a few minutes. It was probably like an hour of frustration where I was just like, it's not spinning in my hand. And my husband and my sister-in-law were just saying, you're holding it too tight. And I was like, I can't hold it any looser. I'm going to drop it. But yeah, eventually I got the hang of it. And once you've got the hang, it's pretty easy. So yeah, that's it for my little demonstration. And then, like I said, you just put it down to stop. So I haven't actually got to the plying point yet where I want to ply 2 singles. So I can't really give you much advice on that, but you will notice that this cop builds up pretty quickly. And so what I've been doing is that once the cop is built up, and I feel like when I feel like it's built up enough is when what I'm trying to wind on doesn't want to stay in between here. It starts slipping up or slipping down. Then I think like, okay, well now it's time to clear the cop. And then I've just been winding it onto one of my, is this a bobbin or a spindle? I don't know. This is from my spinning machine, my spinning wheel. I'm just winding onto here. I haven't really joined the separate pieces as I put it on, so they're all like separate bits that are on there, and hopefully I'll figure out what to do by the time I get to plying it together. And I'm not sure if I'm going to ply it using the Spurtzleur. I'm going to try and ply it using the Spurtzleur, otherwise if I struggle with that I might just try and ply it using my wheel. Okay, so okay, now it's silhouetted. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Sorry about this. It's now terrible lighting because I've already put my tripod away, but I totally forgot to tell you how to start. So basically, you pull out a little bit of the roving and then you kind of twist it so it's got a tiny bit of spin in it so it won't kind of pull and break. You take this and you see, oh, you can sort of see, sorry, there's like some notches in here. So you kind of wrap it into one of these, and then you start wrapping just a bit so that when you pull it, it's not going to spin. And then you can start the whole process of doing this. That's basically how you start. So I got some spin in there, can let it draft out a bit, and carry on. And you just wind it on. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Sorry about this bad lighting for the last bit. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found this somewhat helpful and somewhat instructional. And I hope I didn't go too fast or anything. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I will try and answer them to the best of my very meager knowledge. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.